Ask you a question. I really don't need you to answer me. And this question is to mothers, to a woman. Just ponder upon it in your mind. Your son calls you and he tells you, Mommy, I am coming home with a wife for you. And you're so excited. And then he arrives with this beautiful young lady, gorgeously dressed in a long dress. And in fact, just sighting her, you fall in love with her. You give her a warm hug and a warm embrace. Took her to the dining area. And over dinner, you chatted away, laughing like old friends. And when it was time to go to bed, you hugged her warmly and told her, sleep well, my daughter. That was the last thing you remembered. Yes, a lady walking into the room to sleep. And then you wake up in the morning, suddenly, bam, the lady is hopping all around your house with one leg. Yes, your son did not tell you that the wife he brought home to you is a young lady whose leg was amputated. Ha! What will you do? Welcome to Against All Odds on the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. My name is Toshima Pius Ikiravi. Don't go away. We will be back shortly. Don't go away. If you're just joining us, the program is still Against All Odds on the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. And on this episode, I bring to you, it is all about Aver. She's one of my very young friends that I have and I love so much. Yes, when I got to meet this young lady, I was inspired. I was inspired by her ability to go all out there and become that person she wants to become. Nothing is stopping her. Aver is an all-rounder. And today, I want to usher you into her world. You want to know her story, how it all started, how far she's been able to go, how far she's been able to surpass all the challenges. Wow, stay with us. We will meet her shortly.
This is Against All Odds.
Baking is my passion, and baking is an art too. So I love art, and there are different ways to act. So I chose to display my art skills in baking, and it has been kind of rough and rosy, but all the same, it's a good one because first it was a passion before I started seeing the money in it. Okay, so how do cake making pay my bills? Cake making has really been paying my bills out there because one, cake is something a lot of people love out there. And then when you look around, there is no kind of occasion that happens without the cake. And the customer base, people give birth every day. People's birthday comes up every day and people want to celebrate. People love celebration. So in doing that, people get in touch with me. And it's paying the bill. The profit I make from there, it's actually paying the bill. But like the economy is right now, it's not too rosy, but people still are celebrating. The little they can have, they want to thank God and celebrate, call friends together and celebrate. And definitely there's no celebration without a cake.
Aver Aki was born on the 26th of July in the mid-80s in Boko local government area of Benue State. Aver attended Kukasi Nursery and Primary School in Boko, Benue State, where she obtained her first school certificate in 1996. She then proceeded to Federal Government College Vandekia for high school and obtained the senior school certificate. However, in 2002, after high school, she was involved in an accident which cut short her education. With an amputated leg, the reality of a new face began. She started living in self-denial. In her quest for continued self-development, she began rearing livestock to support her education. In 2013, Aver obtained a Bachelor of Arts degree in English Language from the Benue State University, Makurdi.
You can't give what you don't have. It's not possible. It is what you have inside of you that you can give out. And so Ave obviously has so much love, so much laughter inside of her, and she gives it out in spite of her disability. But I'm sure it has not been this easy. And someone wants to know, just how did this accident happen?
It all started on February 9, 2003, that fateful Sunday. I was coming back from church. Not too far from the house, there's an expressway that divides the street. The other side, I was on the other side, so had an accident. A car actually knocked me down, and I woke up in the hospital actually with a broken leg. So the accident seems very minor because I had a broken leg. There was no even outer wound there, just a broken leg inside. So I was in the hospital. The doctors did the necessary what they were supposed to do. Okay, so like barely 2 weeks into the accident, we discovered that an infection have entered my leg. The doctor called it the gangrene or something like that. So we entered the leg and the leg was getting so bad that the veins that transport blood from where to the toes or whatever, I don't know, they got dead. And the leg from the other side was useless. And the only option to salvage the leg and also keep me alive was amputation. So the doctors, my parents were battling on how to even pass the message to me and also sign the form for the amputation to take place. So later the message got to me that, okay, this is what happened and this is the only solution for me to be alive. I said, okay, I don't know. Somehow I agreed to it because one, I was in serious pains. There were no painkillers that were easing my pains at that particular time. And every minute that was wasted was causing a lot of damage on my leg because I could notice that where the leg was bad, something was kind of traveling in my leg from up, down, up, down. So down was already bad. So when it comes up, it shoots up a little. And the shooting up entails that where it shoots and stops, that's where the leg gets bad again. So it was now led for a decision to be taken quickly so that it will not get up here. And by the time it gets up here, it will go into my internal organs, not just the leg getting bad. And by the time it gets up there and I eventually say yes to amputation, it will become above the knee amputation. It won't be below the knee. So as of then, it was just somewhere here. And it was getting up. So the earlier I take the decision or the earlier my parents take the decision, the better it will be for me. So I said, okay, no problem. I will go into the room theater for amputation. So it was now time for my parents to sign. And none of them were like, they can't do that. So at the point I understood, okay, now after everything, when I came back home, I get to understand that, okay, they were like, if them signing to my amputation, it will be that, okay, they gave their daughter up for amputation and all of that. So I felt that they had this guilt in them. So I now said, okay, they should bring the papers for me to sign. I actually signed for my amputation.
Ave has gradually groomed herself on how to own her disability, to be proud of it, and to accept it as a part of life.
I didn't really understand what I even give permission for. Sometimes I'll sleep and dream that when I wake up, my leg will grow back and nothing. I was there, people, friends, family coming and crying, all of that. I was also crying, as in a whole day. I would not want to eat. I would just soak my pillow in tears. I would not want to see anybody. A life of an amputee, every step you take a step in pains.
Wow.
Every step you take. If you must use a prosthetic,
Yes.
you take one sweet pain, one bitter pain, one sweet pain, one bitter pain.
So it hurts. It pains. The pains are still there. Is it from the bones or from the vein or something?
Okay, like for instance, it varies from the kind of prosthetics you are using. If you are using a locally made prosthetic, and depending on how your amputation was done, there are a lot of orthopedic doctors out there that don't know how to manage a stump. In fact, I went through that. The first hospital that did my amputation, the doctor really messed up with my stump. I had to come back for a stump refashioning. Because there's a stump is supposed to be kind of roundish. You have to bring the skin together and that has meat so that when you are walking, you are not using your bones to walk on. You know, when you see my stump, it's kind of roundish and there's meat around it. Prosthetics are very, very expensive. What I am using here is not really the standard prosthetic, but it's better than a locally made prosthetic. We have what we call silicone prosthetics. They are so beautiful, so soft to walk in. In fact, right now, as I'm talking to you, I need to change this prosthetic because it is bad. I actually want to go for the silicone on too because my lot of moving around here and there. So prosthetics are different types of prosthetics and different prices.
So one does not fit all.
One does not fit all. One does not fit all at all. And we have different type of amputation. My amputation is below the knee, which is somewhere here.
Okay.
As you can see, this socket form this part of my leg that is remaining.
Yes.
There are some amputation that is above the knee, which is here. And when they are doing a prosthetic limb for them, they have to do something that will form the socket. The knee socket
So
that
they
can
can
be
bend.
they can be bent, and that I'm telling you is not in naira. Like the silicone prosthetics I'm telling you about now, the cheapest I can get is about 1.5 million. That is a person who has a below knee amputation. So if you're talking about person that is above knee amputation, you should be thinking about 3 million thereabout.
Whoa.
Because in their
And
own,
it's not forever.
no, and it's not forever.
It
It's not forever.
expires.
It expires. Like the foot expires too. The sockets can get
this
bad.
is different. This is different.
This
It
is
doesn't come
different.
together? It's
No,
not a
this
set?
is this. No. This is different. This is a foot. A foot can get expired, and when it get expired, it starts either cutting from under it or these places fall off. You understand?
Yes.
And these foods come in different companies. These different companies of food to have their various prices. So a life of a disability, a life of persons with disability is not cheap at all. It's not cheap.
Physically, mentally, and emotionally. An easier choice might have been to succumb to life and society's unfairness, sit back at home and lament the twist of fate.
So I got admission into College of Education, Katsina to study English Political Science. At this point, I was using a prosthetic limb that was locally made. And it wasn't easy. The fact that I was using a limb, I was also using a walking stick to help me navigate well. So getting through the school class, attend lectures here and there, it was not easy. Back there when I got accommodation and back there in school, my classmates were always around me. Before I get to a lecture, two classmates will already put a seat for me. If you are in Nigeria, you know exactly what I'm talking about in our schools. Lecture halls are not too big, they're not so accessible, and they're not enough for the students taking a class in that lecture. So it was a kind of a rush. So I have classmates that were all there for me. They'll keep a seat for me. And if anything is happening, submitting assignment in our high institution too is not easy. Writing test and submitting, you kind of rush all of here. So I noticed that my classmates were always, Avi, do you need this? Can I do this for you? So help was just everywhere. And one thing I forgot to mention, when I decided to go to school, my mom was like, Avi, how are you going to be faring in school? Who will be doing this for you? Who will be doing this? It was another tough decision between my mom and I, allowing me to like go to school. She wasn't comfortable, but I had to tell her that, Mom, see, I need to get you educated. Who knows what will happen in the nearest future? You won't be here to support me, give me all the support I will need all my life. Who knows? Tomorrow you will die and leave me. So who takes the responsibility? It was a tough battle between me and her on and but she just had to give in. So eventually I went to school. My mom had to go and know where I was staying. I will be in school. By the time I come back home, my mom will sit beside my door waiting for me with a cooler of food that she prepared from Gboko to Kasinala.
With nostalgic feeling, Ave remembers how months after her amputation, she would go to church and sit on the last row and leave before everyone at the end of the Mass. This was to prevent people from staring at her.
On this fateful day, I was walking out of the classroom down to the gate to go home. So a guy was passing by and he made a comment in my dialect. He was like, "Kamba ikazika vi ligi mazanza, we walk on you, we ngaha pelu kwa we suwaga." He simply said, "Girls with shakara, then go wear shoe, you go they pain their leg, they no go still remove. Which one?" So I heard the comment. And then I did not really have the vast knowledge of disability I have right now. So I didn't even know what to tell him. I just told myself within me that I don't blame you because you know he does not know what he's saying. So I just walked past and I went home. But actually I was feeling bad. I really felt bad within me. But I just left him before God.
After the mandatory 1 year National Youth Service, Ave engaged actively in entrepreneurship and registered her company, Ave Reality Limited. She has a vast experience and capacity in managing micro-medium enterprise.
I am a person with disability, but my abilities were not taken away from me. What was taken away from me was just one ability out of the 99, out of the 100 that was given to me by God. So I'm left with 99 abilities. And if I don't use these 99 abilities that I have left to better my life, then I have no use to be alive. So I bake. I'm a disability rights advocate. I'm a founder. To the glory of God, I'm a founder of Hope Alive for Possibilities Initiative and also a TV host. And a whole lot of things that I have lined up there and I'm still lining up there to do. So in doing all of this, and like I earlier said in my interview, help has been all over me. Help has been along the way. You know, God has a way of doing things in our lives. Okay, when I had an accident and it resulted into amputation, a lot of people that don't understand what life is all about felt that, oh, her life is finished. What can she do with one leg? She can't amount to anything. But there are lots of things to be done. There are lots of things to be done, even without one leg. In my one leg, I have 1,001 opportunities out there. And thank God to COVID-19. Yes, a lot of people died during the COVID-19, but COVID-19 has its positive side of it for those of us who are still alive. It opened a lot of opportunities for us. And to persons with disabilities, it opened more opportunities for us. It showed all the internet way of life. You can sit in your room and do whatever you want to do with the internet. Apply a lot of opportunities, schools, fellowship, and all of that. So COVID-19 opened my eyes to a lot of opportunities. A lot of things I do, my customer base is online. I don't go out to market myself with flyers here and there in occasions. I don't do that. I sit in the room on my bed. I market my products. So, to the glory of God, the cake, the disability aspect is all paying off, and I got the space. I've been baking for the past roughly 5 years now, and the business has been there are some ups and downs in the business, but I I can't regret for a day. I love baking. I love what I'm doing. Even when the money is not coming in it, I bake. When the money comes in it, I use it, I spend it. But when it doesn't, I manage what I have and life goes on.
19 years later, if there is any way she could walk without her prosthetic for the world to see, Ave would gladly and proudly do that.
This is against all odds.
In Indonesia, there is a guy with no arms and no legs, but he can shoot pictures, he can drive cars, and he can dive in the oceans. Who is this guy, and how the heck does he do it? In this small town in Indonesia, we found Paul meet Zul. The first thing they see is not his personality or skills, they see his disability. And it's not just other people, his parents did too. One day, things turned around. He found a purpose for himself in the last thing he expected, a camera. Even though he has no hands or legs, he picked up a camera with only his arm muscles, strapped it on his neck, and used all the strength he had to press the shutter. And that changed his life. His pictures were really good, so good that people could not believe he took these pictures. He took thousands of pictures. He became popular on Instagram, and eventually he got a scholarship to study at a photography school. Think about this for a second. Without any arms or legs, this guy can take pictures, build a career, build a car, and learn how to swim in the oceans. Disabled is everything he is not. Disabled is the wrong word to use because people like him fight every day to stay alive. They are the most abled people in the world.
This is against all odds.
She understood that she had so much to offer life. An amputation would certainly not stop her drive. Physically, she might be using prosthetics, but she plans to give freedom to others like her through her organization Hope Alive for Possibilities initiative, HAPPY. HAPPY is a Nigerian-based public charitable trust that provides women with different clusters of disabilities with hope and assists them in fulfilling their potentials with basic quality of life.
Take us into your love life. What has it been like?
Okay, love, life, disability, and love. Wow. It's kind of dicey. It's kind of bittersweet and all of that. We are pushing. Presently, actually, there's nobody out there. But we are hoping that someday somebody's son will find me.
Yeah.
And we'll continue the story out there. But one thing I want to say is disability and relationship has not been easy. A lot of young girls with disability out there are really finding it difficult getting into a relationship that it's that meaningful and that will result to something. But we are pushing and we are hopeful. I think the loss is not on women with disability, but the loss is on the men that they're not discovering them. Because women with disability are sweet women out there that if you get to know them, if you get close to them, your life will be sweet and meaningful too. But like the world, especially Nigeria, see disability. They just see the disability, they forget to see the abilities that are in that disability. So, but all the same, we are hopeful that somebody's son will come.
Ave is also passionate about sexual and reproductive health and the promotion of economic self-reliance for women and girls with disabilities. She encourages every person with disability to identify their passion, learn a skill, and create a conducive working environment at the comfort of their homes and practice the skill they learned.
Beavers Hangout is a hangout for women with disabilities. We get to meet, share our stories, our weaknesses, so that others can learn. Where someone get it wrong, someone will learn and try to get it right. You know, there is no formula in this thing called life. So you just get to try and see where it's okay. You just move ahead. So And Divas Hangout has really produced a lot of results. When you see our girls come together, they are happy, we talk, we eat, we swim, and everybody go back smiling and happy.
This episode has been all about Avi, a young girl who had to pull herself out of that dark room. She didn't have anyone to tell her this is how persons with disabilities should strive on or go on with their lives. She just had her thinking faculty, she had herself, and then she pulled herself out of that dark room because she didn't want to stay in there and print out negatives. She pushed herself out in the light, and she's still in the light and will remain in the light. I hope this story inspires you to wake up and tell yourself, I can. Let's do this again next week, same time, same station. My name is Dushma Pius Ikiravi. Thank you for staying. Have a fantastic week ahead. Bye-bye.
Audio Jungle.